kill two.
Let's say you pick up the bodies and put them in your trunk of your car.
Blood everywhere. Already.
Everywhere, DNA. So that means you got to light that car on fire.
That's right.
At the end of the fucking job. So now you got to take them somewhere, wrap them, dig a hole, throw lime on them to help the body decompose, and hope that fucking Johnny Jogger doesn't come by. You know how fucking heavy a body is? Imagine when it's dead and you got to drag it.
I mean, I've carried a couple buddies that drank too much of dead weight, and it felt like 500 pounds. Yeah.
Well, I love in movies when they show a guy just digging up a body. That guy that's an all-night job.
Sounds like you.
Yeah, I was going to say
you got to go 3 or 4 feet.
I was going to say you keep saying this with like so much knowledge. Lime.
You got to go 3 or 4 feet, and you got to cover it good, and you got to hold, and then you got to.
That's hours. It'd take you by yourself with a regular shovel. It's hours.
Hours. That's why you have to have.
I've dug in-ground pools, and it's taken days.
That's why you have to have the hole dug already. By the time you kill the people, if you're going to go make the drug deal, so you can just throw them in the fucking
$200, Joey Diaz.
Yeah, but I know. Listen, there's people that'll kill you over 35.
You know what? You're right about that.
There's people that'll kill you over 20.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, me, it'd have to be 2 guys carrying 22 kilos of blow. You know, and then you got to chop it up. Somebody's got to help you with that job. So that means you got 2 people who know your secret.
That's right.
So now I got to kill you and put you in the hole while you're digging. I got to shoot you and take the money because now I got to live the rest of my life knowing that.
That's the truth.
You know this. 20 years from now, I'm in my backyard. They knocked the door down. Lee got popped with heroin in Upper Manhattan. This is the gem he gave him. That we bet he takes him right to the body, and they find my fucking T-shirt on the grave from the sweat. There you go. That's how quick you go away now. That's how quick you go away.
That is very vivid.
Hey, I've thought about it a lot.
Clearly, you thought about that shit.
And then you got to take your car and burn it. So now, 6 weeks later, cops are going to come to you. You're already an alleged suspect. They already came and spoke to you. You told them you haven't seen nobody. And now they're going to come back to you and say, mysteriously, we found your car on fire, because you can't hide that.
I'm pretty sure this guy didn't have a plan.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? He did not have a plan.
Well, a man without a plan is not a man.
That's
Nietzsche
right.
said that. So, but that's why it kills me when people get caught for murder. Because I know for over 20 years, people, not in my neighborhood, but in those 5 boroughs in New York, were killing people on a daily and making the bodies disappear.
How?
No body, no murder. If you want to send a message, then you leave the body on the street. But if you want the body to disappear, hey, Ryan Sickler was here. We did the podcast. Listen to it. They come back, no body, no nothing. I have to have that pre-planned. I have to have tape in the car.
Tape in the
baggie. I got to bury you with a fucking cap on because I got to shave my head before I kill you and my body hair.
You have thought a lot about this.
You have to. You have
Do
to.
you?
No, you don't.
You might have to.
When I was going through my shit years ago, this is what, this is what I learned. And this is what...
Who do you learn it from? The guy in Denver?
In Colorado, yeah.
In prison or out of prison?
Out of prison, way before prison.
Way before
3 or
prison.
4 years before prison. And then you just learn from watching guys and reading how many murders the mob got done with that you'll never see the people. They just got rid of the bodies. But people get in trouble for murder every day. If you cover every trace, there's a lot of steps.
I was going to say, these days, an eyelash will get you.
An eyelash, a fucking clone with a camera.
You know what? You're right about that. They'll fly them these days.
They listen, as far as I'm concerned, it's funny. When I grew up around these old-time Cubans that would not even have a conversation if a phone was in the room. Like if there was a phone on the desk, they'd go outside and talk. They were already hip to the NFL, the microphones. The feds in the 80s and 70s would bounce that off the glass. So even if you were standing in front of a bodega, the feds could point at you with those guns and get the vibrations of what you're saying off the glass. They were hip to that. They wouldn't even talk around glass.
Wow.
They would talk in the middle of the street on concrete, very hard to tape unless you know they're going to have a conversation at that
Then you fly a drone overhead.
Whatever, but there was no drone.
None back then.
Now there's not much you could do. Look at this. I said it for years. Look, somebody just got arrested for Alexa. You want to buy Alexa and talk shit in front of her, you're going to jail.
I heard they help solve a murder or something, right? Yeah,
I don't want Alexa close to my fucking house. Yeah. These phones, they're the kiss of death. They tape everything.
They do.
These phones, they tape everything.
Dude, shit I will talk about will pop up in my feed, everything.
It happens all the time.
Recording everything.
This is recording everything.
Absolutely.
When you're jerking off in front of the camera, in front of YouPorn, and you're going back and forth looking Chinese, your eyes are rolling.
There's video
They got that on tape, too.
There's video.
The sad part is, it's probably in those terms of like service that we all agree to, because who's going to read it?
Any day we can make a montage of you and put it out on YouTube.
I think for years I've always said when you go to the bathroom on a plane, that mirror, they're watching you. That's too much an investment for them not to be watching you.
Keep a little camera behind there and keep an eye on whatever the fuck you're doing back there.
Way before 9/11, in my paranoid cocaine mind, I always was even scared to do bumps in the bathroom. I would sit down and make believe I was taking a shit and then bend my head down and do 2 bumps of coke. And I wipe my ass and everything. Like if I didn't, I'd get up and show my dick.
Never got caught?
Never got caught. Never got caught.
I have an aunt that she was on to, we used to think she was crazy, and now I think she was right. But she had, back in the home phone days, she would hear her phone click and gone. New number. Right away, new fucking number. And we would always be like, you're fucking crazy. And now I see that they admit they've been listening and everything else. I'm like, you were on to it early on.
In the 80s.
She'd be like, why don't you call me? I'm like, because I don't have your new fucking You changed 10 numbers this year.
I knew when I was a kid, I read something once that different words activated different computers. Bomb, cocaine, the word 8-ball. Different things.
Like program it into this, and then when it hears it, it'll start picking. That's when it starts recording.
It starts picking it up.
Oh, shit.
I know in the 80s and 70s, I know this for a fact, that if I tapped Ryan Sickler's phone, I would have to, by law, go to the phone box, because there was not just a cable box.
Oh, that old school gray box? Okay.
And if you opened that box and looked on your tag, there would have to be a tag on it that said FBI, County Sheriff's Office, Prosecutor's Office.
So legally they have to identify it, but 99% of people never go look at that box and not even know what's on there in the first place.
We're going in like fucking Marines, you understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.